Alright, it's time to play a little game called What Conic Is It? So, when you're doing conics, it's probably a pretty nice skill to be able to look at the equation and give yourself a game plan. Wouldn't it stink if you did half a problem realizing that it's not an ellipse like you thought it was? So, that's the name of this game, is What Conic Is It? So look at the first one. What do you think it is? That's right. It's a hyperbola. Kind of sound like that show Dora the Explorer or something like that. Hopefully you said it was a hyperbola, but I'm going to explain why you should know it's a hyperbola. The only things you need to look at are your squared variables. You have a positive x squared and a negative y squared. The only conic that you know that has a positive and negative variable is a hyperbola. So this guy has no choice but to be a hyperbola. So let's play again. What is number 2? That's right, it's a parabola, because there's only one squared variable. So if you look at this, we only have an x squared, so it's a parabola. If you only had a y squared, that would still be a parabola, now that you know that we can have sideways parabolas. Look at number 3. You guessed it, it's a circle. So we have an x squared and a y squared, and the same number is in front of both. In this case, obviously, they're ones, but we have two squared variables. They have the same number in front, and they are both positive. So it's a circle. The next one, we've got a 4x squared and a 9y squared. They are both positive, but the numbers in front are different. So you guessed it, it's an ellipse. So finally, the last one. What do you think it is? Looks a little funny. What's so funny about it? Well, it's a circle. The reason why it's a circle is because you could factor a 3 out of every single one of those things. It would just be x squared plus y squared is equal to 9. How did I know? Because we have a positive x squared, a positive y squared, and the number in front is the same. It's not the number in front that makes it an ellipse. It's the fact that the ellipse has two different numbers in front of your squared variables. In this case, we've got a 3x squared and a 3y squared, both positive. It's got to be a circle. Okay? So the second part to this video is how you would do a parabola word problem. So we have the cross section of a satellite dish here. Okay? Now, the important thing is just to know that this satellite dish is just opening up sideways. It doesn't necessarily have to open up to the left. I mean, if you stood on the other side of the house, it would look like it's opening up to the right. Now, this is going to be one of those examples where I can tell you why understanding conic sections is a pretty important thing. A parabola or a satellite dish is not designed like a parabola just because some guy thought it would be fun. It actually has a purpose. The focus is a very important part of a parabola. So, we have this parabolic shape. We know it's opening up sideways, so we know it's going to be x equals something. So before we do this problem, I want to say it's a satellite dish. You see them on thousands of houses, so we're not going to say that if you live at 100 Parabola Lane that you're sitting at a vertex of negative 125, 56, but if you're living at 200 Hyperbola Circle, that you're going to now have a vertex of 200. No, we're not going to change the vertex. So for this problem, we can just assume that the vertex is at 0, 0. So what's the only important part? 3 inches from the vertex. That is the important part to this problem, because the focus is 3 inches from the vertex. Now, why is that important? Well, the focus is actually a very important part of a parabola, because as all those things from outer space, these rays from the satellite come in, they're always going to boink, hit the focus. Here comes another ray from outer space. It comes this way, boink, it's going to hit the focus. And that's why he's placed there. Boink, hit the focus again. I mean, if they just randomly put that transponder in at any location, it might not always be hit by the rays. So all these rays are just going to come in from outer space, and they're just going to hit right off the dish and boink, go right back, and now you have a TV signal. So how do we find P? The equation for P is 4P is equal to 1 over A. And A is how we write our equation. We know what P is, it's 3. So 4 times 3 is equal to 1 over A. So 12 is equal to 1 over A. That must mean that A has to equal 1 over 12. All we have to do is take the reciprocal of both sides and flip it. So since this is opening sideways, we know its x is equal to 1/12 y squared. Now I know it's opening left. You don't really have to call it negative. You can call it negative if you want to. But again, like I said, does it open to the left? Does it open to the right? Is it opening to the north, south, east, or west? Doesn't matter. It's a parabola that's opening up sideways. And he has a focus that's 3 inches from the vertex. So this is your equation. Alrighty, this is Longo and I'm out. See you, bye.